What's up, basketball nerds? Welcome to From the Low Go. The draft is officially behind us. The Blazers came out with Scoot Henderson with the number 3 overall pick, as well as Keegan's brother Chris. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to pronounce this right. Ryan Repair, something like that.
Close.
What is it?
I think it's Rupay,
Oh, okay.
but
Ryan, something like that.
Ryan Rupay, yeah, or it could be Repair. I don't know. You could be right.
Yeah, I think there was a good night for the Blazers. No serious blunders. So now that the first domino is fallen, I guess the second one and maybe the much bigger domino is about to fall. Right now, Damian Lillard in a meeting with Joe Cronin and Blazers management to discuss his future. I think as we speak, they're in a meeting right now. So if any breaking news or updates come while we're recording, we'll be sure to keep an eye on the interwebs and see if anything new comes online. Right now, some of the big rumors I'm seeing that yes, Lillard has serious interest in the Heat. No surprise there. He's already made that clear. And a few trade rumors. Bleacher Report says the Blazers should trade Simons, Little, and later 2023 picks for Pascal Siakam. No shit. I think everyone would be. Oh, Colton's looking a little bit suspect on that. I think that Dame's made it obvious that he's okay with playing with Scoot as long as they get him some more veteran help around there. So it'll be interesting to see what happens both tonight and in the coming days and weeks.
I was only really doing this because Siakam has come out and said that he really wouldn't like resign. Most likely, I think he wants to stay in Toronto. So I just wouldn't at this point. He's off the board. If he says he's not going to resign, he's not on the board. He's not Kawhi Leonard that can come in and win a ring and then leave. He's not on that level. So I would not trade assets for a guy that's gonna either leave or threaten to leave. That's too risky.
Is there a chance that the risk doesn't really change, but there is the chance that the Blazers could convince him, after he's traded here, maybe Dame gets in his ear, or maybe they have a really good season or something and it convinces him. But you're right that the risk isn't really negated with that.
Yeah. So really quick before we dive into the Dame stuff, because obviously that is the hot topic stuff. I just wanted to say, I think the draft was a rousing success. I know people are like, well, Scoot, he's another 6'2" guard, and I get that, and I don't know about playing him together, but you couldn't pass on Scoot when he was on the board. He is a mega star, or he looks like he's gonna be a mega star. You can't pass on that. You have Sharp as the part of the young core. When the draft happened, I feel like I had some kind of draft fatigue going on because we were streaming for 3 hours. So when they drafted Chris Murray, I was more I sighed just because it's kind of a low ceiling but high floor pick. But doing some more research on the guy, he might be able to give you 80% of what Keegan Murray did. Not break the 3-point record type player in his first year, right? But he looks like he's a really good defender, good shooter from all, he can shoot from all different areas on the floor, three, mid-range. That it seems like a good pick, especially, if we are kind of going around Dame, I think you can slot that guy in for minutes right out the gate along with Scoot. And finally, Rayan Repair, however you want to pronounce his name, he really seems like a steal as well. Batum gave us a shout out, and because he knows Nicholas Batum because he's
Nikolai.
so. I'm just saying that guy was a steal. He was projected at some points in the late lottery coming up into the draft. He was projected way earlier than the Blazers got him. He even told his agent, to tell other teams not to draft him because the Blazers wanted to give him an actual contract because they believe in him that much. He's 6'7", he's 6'7". He's got a 7'3" wingspan. So he's not just like a, short guard. He seems like he's going to be a forward with a 7'3" wingspan. So I think the Blazers did fantastic. I'm glad they didn't punt Scoot away yet for average upgrade that isn't going to give them a title, because I think they did good from where they're at.
Yeah, I would definitely grade the draft as a big success. I don't really know what more they could have done. I mean, we kind of knew going in they were either going to take Scooter Miller, whoever was left, and I think we all hoped, at least in the back of our mind, that we might be lucky enough to get Scoot because his ceiling is just so high, and he could be a generational player. So yeah, it's exciting. And, I was excited because, I want to see them play together. I want to see Dame and Scoot play together. And the fact that as soon as Henderson was drafted, one of the first things he said was, I hope Dame stays. I think we can play together. I think our games are different enough. That's what I've been saying, for a while now. There's a big difference between someone who shoots from half court and someone who drives the ball, kicks the ball well, can score from the mid-range. We haven't had that in a long time. And the size is a concern. But when you have two athletic monsters like Scoot and Shaden, potentially, I think that makes up for a little bit of the size. Not all of it, but a little bit of it. And if you can back them up with some size, I at least want to see him try. I really do. And I hope that Dame wants to see him try too, because I think that it could be a very dynamic backcourt.
I think on offense, it really could. I think that, like you said, their games are different enough that they could make a big, they could work on offense. My question is the defensive end of the court. If Scoot, he's got a 6'9" wingspan. If he can guard guys that are 4 or 5 inches taller than him, then it's, a huge win. That could be a real starting backcourt for the next couple of years. But it remains to be seen. I can only think of a few examples of guys, that can guard position, guys that are that much taller, a position above them, and they're all, bigger guards. I'd say a few inches taller than him, like Marcus Smart comes to mind, a few other guys like that. But if he can do that, then on offense, yeah, I think it could work. I think that there's a good chance that they'll click on offense because they both put pressure on the rim. One can shoot, the other one athletic freak. So I think offensively it could work. Defensively is where I'm really curious, and I don't know if it will or not, but I hope so. That'd be awesome.
I want to
just
give you
want to
guys
see him try. That's all I'm asking for. Give it a shot, guys.
I want to, it's up to Dame, right? But I want to give you guys a quick player comp that maybe not a lot of people are thinking about for Scoot as of right now. And it's not a perfect fit, but Joe Cronin dropped kind of a knowledge bomb in the presser when he said they measured Scoot without shoes at like 6'2.5". And when he's wearing shoes, he was close to 6'4". So if that's accurate, he might be like a Dwayne Wade type, where Dwayne Wade was pretty, he was like 6'4", shorter end, athletic, mid-range game, long arms. I don't know, man. I'm just saying, like, maybe not Dwayne Wade right out the gate. I'm not going to say he's going to be like Dwayne Wade in his prime, but that's kind of a guy that was a shorter shooting guard, but was athletic, could shoot in the mid-range. It's something to look out for, right? I mean, I hope Scoot improves his shooting. I hope he can play defense. Like, if you're trying to slot Scoot in and have him play defense, he's got the right mentality. He was already in downtown Portland wearing his jersey. 00, by the way. What a baller number choice. Yeah, Scoot, SCOOT. That's such a marketing play, right? But I like him already. I'm like ready to riot if we trade him, unless it's for the top of the top, Like, he seems like he's already trying to go in there and play for Portland. So
I know he's definitely made a good first impression. Scoot, put some lifts in those shoes, man. Give yourself another inch or two, and you'll be right where you need to be. So, are either of you comfortable putting a letter grade on the draft? I guess Scoot, it's hard to really get, that choice. It's pretty much an A because you can't really do anything other than that unless you consider it a loss because they didn't trade the pick beforehand. But I heard some rumblings that because of the Blazers, their good fortune on the draft lottery, it made it harder to really trade the pick. You just can't get equal value back for a guy like that.
Who said that? You and I said that, remember? We said because we moved up, it was going to be harder to trade it. You and I said that exact same thing.
Yeah, it's funny. All of the things have led to the hardest possible position the Blazers are in right now, probably with getting the third pick, and then the Hornets taking Brandon Miller and leaving us, with the guy who could be a generational talent at point guard. It definitely puts the Blazers in a tough position. But I think as far as that pick goes, I'm pretty comfortable giving that an A. And as far as their other guys, I think it's pretty exciting what they're able to do, with their later picks. Other than, again, if you wanted to package up and trade some of them, but either of you guys comfortable? I just posted a poll on our YouTube channel. How would you grade the Blazers draft night? A, B, C, D, or F? What would you guys give that the night in totality?
Go ahead,
I have a hard time giving it anything other than an A. And I mean, I'm not just saying that like as a homer. I feel like it was a success as long as they didn't fumble the bag and pick a Thompson twin, or they had kind of an embarrassment of riches, to choose from. Or to be saddled with, I guess. Either Miller or Scoot, I think would have been exciting. So, they didn't fumble it. I thought the later picks, I don't know nearly as much about the third pick that we took, but, I think we were all, as we were watching the draft board change and everything, we all had our eye on Murray as a, like you said, a little bit lower of a ceiling, but also a fairly low floor. He looks like a good defensive player, a solid player. He might be able to come in and give us some of that help that we're going to need against bigger guards and wing players, that Damon, Scoot, and Shaden just aren't going to be able to handle, probably. So we have to have guys like that. I thought that was a good pickup. So A.
I'm going to go with an A-, which, again, we're all kind of in the same category, right? That's kind of nitpicky. My one area is always, size. I do want to get the best player available no matter what. So Scoot, I'm so glad we took Scoot. Scoot's going to be a star. I'm not really concerned. Chris Murray, he's 6'7". He's or close to 6'8". That's good. He's probably going to play the wing. Ryan Ripari is also 6'7". I'm a little concerned about our big slot. Again, we still don't have those big guys. Nurkic just kind of sitting there on an island. But Joe, and another thing he said in his press conference after caught my ear, and it really made me think. Scoot, okay, he's played professionally for 2 years. He started when he was 17 in the G League. Chris Murray, 4-year player, can come in right away and impact it. Rayan, I've said his name differently every time because now I'm concerned that I'm saying it wrong every time.
You're guaranteed to get one of them right. One of these times you'll be right.
Maybe played, I'm probably wrong on all of them. He played in the Australian League, professional league. These aren't guys that are like Shaden, where it's concerning that they might not be ready right away. I feel like all of these guys could make an impact right away. I'm not saying they're going to come in and change the game, all three of them on day one. I think Scoot will, but they can all play. So A-, if only we had gotten some size, a little bit more size, I would, go A+ even, because it was a really good draft in my opinion. And I think a lot of the national media is even grading the Blazers as one of the winners of the entire draft just from the talent they picked. So
yeah, when we were looking at who we were going to take, and we were looking at Chris Murray, that's something that we talked about on our live stream too, is, who are we bringing in, assuming that we are trying to keep Dame around. We don't necessarily want a team that's going to, be competitive in 5 or 6 years. We want a team that's going to be competitive this year or the year after that, And so, yeah, getting guys who are 21 or, somewhere in that range and actually ready to come in and make an impact, I think that gives us a better chance with Dame, especially based on some of the news that's been coming out today. I'm sure we're going to get to that.
Yeah,
For
I'd probably also give it. I'd probably give it an A minus too. If we're going with pluses and minuses, if those are allowed on the scale. You make a good point with the size. I don't think there was really anybody that we missed out on necessarily. It just
Mhm.
didn't fall to. Nothing really worked out as far as getting any big guys. But the other, I don't wouldn't even call it an issue, but just the other thing that I have in mind is it could have been a nice move to package that 23rd pick and a player or two for a veteran guy. Like we've all said, that we're trying. Blazers are in win now mode if they're trying to keep Damian Lillard, and maybe it'll happen in the coming weeks and months. Maybe some of those rookies will be traded out for a veteran guy. But yeah, that's the only real question mark I have is, are we going to hold on to all three of these rookies that we have? If we're going to trade some of them, I hope it's not Scoot. I hope we can I hope we want the Blazers won the draft enough to, there's enough upside and enough interest in those guys to maybe pair them with the Simons or someone else to get a veteran player to appease Dame. But other than that, yeah, I think they did all they could, and I'd give it an A minus. So moving on to the free agency that's about to come, I guess. Any news on Dame yet? Has he
No,
come out?
I check nothing. We're kind of
keeping my
waiting
eye
for
on it.
Christine's bomb.
It's a long,
Yeah.
long meeting. Long meeting, guys.
So yeah, what's on your mind, Colton, as far as the upcoming free agency news? Got any trades or any signings or anything? I guess we could talk about if we're not talking about the Blazers, the bombshell John Collins for Rudy Gay trade that happened earlier today. What
Already
did you
done.
what did you say before we started? Say that again. That was funny.
What did I say? Oh, yeah.
Trading the number 7 pick.
So last year, one of the players that was rumored to be in the play for the number 7 pick was John Collins. Now, this year, fast forward a year, he got traded for a second-round pick in Rudy Gay.
Salary dump.
Wow. We dodged a bullet, and that's why to all the people saying trade the 3rd pick no matter what, no, 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 no. Now nobody would trade Shaden for anything, almost. Scoot's gonna probably take be the same way. We're gonna see in Summer League. I'm super excited for Summer League. Wow, it's gonna be insane.
When is that? Is that mid-July?
It's early July. I think it's the 7th. So we'll see
Oh
in
wow.
a couple weeks here.
Is Shaden playing? Any news on if Shaden's playing?
I haven't heard if Shaden's playing. I've been
Scoot probably will, right?
Scoot will. Joe said all 3 of the rookies will play.
Okay.
So that'll be very exciting. But as far as rumors go, there was a report today that said Dame, one of his biggest wants would be to get Draymond Green. I know that name turns some Blazer fans off. I personally think he'd be a culture setter for the defense, and we've needed a player that will cause a spark, whether it's waking our own team up or getting in the other team's face. I know that Dame and Draymond are friends. It would probably require sign and trade. I don't know how that would work. It would probably be kind of complex. I think Draymond will end up staying anyways. But I think with free agency, the one thing I'm going to say before I go into a long, boring rant is it's really
interesting rant.
Well, I know, but I don't want to take all the time to talk about this from you guys. So I just want to say it's going to change whatever Dame wants. I want Dame to make up his mind on if he's going to stay or if he's going to go before free agency for 2 reasons. Jeremy Grant, that's the biggest Blazer free agency thing we got to keep an eye on. If he's leaving, I don't know if we need to keep him for what he wants, maybe a sign and trade. And if he is leaving as well, if he's staying, keep Jeremy Grant probably. But if he's leaving and we're going to rebuild, that's going to change the free agents we need to look for. If we're going for a rebuild, we need to get some vets on the team that can mentor Scoot, can mentor Shaden, do that, fill in the rest of the roster. And if we're keeping Dame, obviously that changes the free agents we're looking at. So I hope Dame makes up his mind on if he's going to stay or if he's going to go before free agency starts this Friday.
Yeah, it really all hinges on, you know, as we've known for a long time now, it really does hinge on Damian Lillard making a decision. And I agree. I think that he probably will tell them, hopefully today, what he wants to
Hopefully.
do. Hopefully he's saying right now, I want to stay, resign Jeremy Grant and bring in Anunoby or something like that. Draymond.
Yep, I agree. I think he knows. I think he'll know tonight what he's going to do, and I think he'll probably make that pretty clear to the team. It sounds like the relationship is really solid between Dame and Cronin and the organization. It doesn't sound like there's any tension there, which is what you want, right? I mean, like, even if things do turn sour or just don't work out to where he has to request a trade, it sounds like, it would be hopefully mutually beneficial, and he's keeping the best interest of the teams of the team in mind too. So yeah, I think he'll let us know soon so that we can make some decisions, as we're gonna have to.
Well, I am a little bit different from you because I mean I do agree that they have the same, they're on good terms with each other, both the team and Dame. But the thing is, I think Dame's going to take some time and say, look, I'll give you till July 10th. Sadly, that's going to hover over us. I think Dame's going to give him a chance to build the roster with vets again, give him a chance. And then, so it's going to be a waiting game. I hope that he says today, I hope that he just says, you know what, I'm in. I'm going to hope that you guys can put it together. I'll at least give each other trade deadline. Or he just says, nope, I don't agree with your plan and I want to be traded. Because that way we can stop the distractions, because it's just going to keep either A, lowering his value, or B, being a distraction if he's staying. So, and, make it harder for us to get other vets. So I hope he says today. I don't think he will. And if he does say he wants out, we're going to have to look at some probably less than desirable trades. And I might be able to put one together really quick. But you guys are going to have to be prepared, because Miami is the by far leading contender. I don't know if it'd be to another team other than Miami. So we would have to prep ourselves.
Man, that is such a shitty position to be put in, to have to trade him to the Miami Heat. Just
Well,
they don't have anything for us.
Yeah, you're right.
They just don't have anything. I mean, you almost just can't do it.
Yeah, it would just be so brutal to not get back as much value as the Thunder got for Russell Westbrook. To get less than that is a slap in the face.
I mean, okay, so I'm not sure if Fanspo's trade machine is working perfectly, but I'm going to pull up a trade. I think this would not, I think there'd have to be a third team in the deal, and I'll explain why. Break it down. So I'm going to see what you guys think once I kind of break it down. Obviously, it's not going to be our perfect trade, because we would not want him to go to Miami, but the Blazers, if he does one out, the Blazers are going to do right by Dame and trade him to a place he wants to go, because he's been loyal. That doesn't mean we can't look for a good package between the teams he lists. I hope if he does one out, he lists more than Miami and Brooklyn, just to get
you hope
leverage.
that it's reciprocal, that that Blazers do right by him, but that he does right by the Blazers too, and doesn't put them in just a completely shit position to get absolutely nothing back from him. I understand he wants to go to a contender, and I don't think Brooklyn is really a great fit for him. Like, are they that much better a spot than Portland is right now as far as roster configurations? Yeah. So if
he wants to play with Bridges, and what Riley said, he doesn't want to play for a super team. He just wants to have a shot. I actually think that they would be probably at least a 6th seed in the East if they get Dame and keep a lot of their other players, if we trade them Nurk and Dame, let's say. But you're right. They're probably not like cream of the crop, but they would still have other assets after other firsts, even if they trade us 4 firsts for Dame, so they could do more. So let me just pull up this Heat trade and break it down as much as I can. So I don't think that this is going to work, specifically for one reason.
Lowry, I'm in. Lowry all day.
So
Just
for
kidding.
one reason, I don't think this is going to work, and it is because we would be getting Tyler Hero. Okay. I think if the Blazers and Dame wants to go to Miami, that's where it's going to end up being, and that's just what we have to deal with. I think that Joe's going to be like, okay, Pat Riley, you need to come up with a third team where Tyler Hero can go, where we can get more assets, like a big or more picks, because we don't need Tyler Hero. We have Ant, we have Scoot, we have Shaden. We don't need to get Tyler Hero. But if Tyler Hero could be seen as valuable, if you can get other assets for him, it might have to be a 3-team deal. I didn't come up with a third team because there's just a lot of variance right now. But so Kyle Lowry isn't expiring, basically. He's going to be. Oladipo is as well. So you'd get off all your contracts. I sent Nurkic there because we'd be like, here, Miami. Okay, you want Dame? Well, you're going to take Nurkic off our hands too, because we're not going to get a lot of value, but at least we get out from under his contract and be like, well, if you're going to be in cap hell, you better take Nurkic too. And then we've got Jovic,
I think.
Okay,
Yeah, I think it's Jokic
he
for
is
the
a good
V.
young prospect. He is. He's not a bum, but he's also not like a good prospect that you'd be like, oh, I'm so excited. He's the centerpiece of a trade. We would get their pick that they picked this year, Jaime. He's a forward from UCLA. So that's another player. I wish they would have taken Cam Whitmore. If they would have taken Cam Whitmore, I think this deal would look a lot more attractive than what it is. They passed on him, remember, like all those other teams. And then what you got here is they would have to be sending us picks, basically all their picks that they could send, and then they'd have to send pick swaps too, because we're not getting really that blue chip prospect in this deal. So if you think about this, if you send Tyler Hero to another team to either get a forward or a big, or like a pick or two with that, you're clearing your books, you're getting a young prospect, and you're getting all these picks to go along with Scoot and Shaden. That might be as good as you can do. It's not the worst trade in the world. It's not like what Washington got for Beal, or it's not like what, it's not the
Funny,
worst.
I was going to say, it reminds me of what the Washington trade a little bit. They traded Beal, and then, they got a veteran guy who they didn't want, and then they shipped him off for another few pieces, which would kind of be the Hero move.
But it wouldn't be the same in value. I mean, the Wizards didn't even get a confirmed first. These would be unprotected firsts. These would be like, if the Heat, if Dame's 35 and Jimmy's 36 and Jimmy gets hurt for all year, and the Heat, are in salary cap bad spot so that they can't, that pick could be good. And the Miami Heat don't usually have a lot of great high lottery picks, but if their whole core is 35, besides Bam, maybe you get a couple good players out of this deal with the picks, and maybe, Nikola turns into something. I don't know. It's not the best thing ever, but it's also not like you're getting nothing. It's just not what I would prefer. I would much prefer a deal to Brooklyn around Claxton. I'd much prefer like a deal to Utah. Send them to Utah with Markkanen and give us all their nice Minnesota picks and Hendricks, who they just drafted. There's a lot of places I would rather send him, but we're going to send him to a place on his list. So what do you guys think? Let's just hope that he expands his list. How about that?
OKC would be another one that I would be perfectly fine sending him there. If he really wanted to go, you'd be able to get a lot more from there. Yeah, at first glance, it's kind of brutal trading Dame for Jovic, but I don't really know. If he says Miami's the only place he wants to go and puts the Blazers in between that rock and the hard place, that's probably about the best you're going to get. Hopefully Tyler Hero would be able to fetch you a, young, big guy that you could pair with those guys, because that's what the Blazers desperately need right now and have needed for, 10, 15 years, is a good, young, big prospect. So I hate the trade, but I guess that's what if that's what Dame asks for, it's what you have to do.
So I'm putting things together that are happening on my two screens right now. And on one screen, I'm seeing just the saddest possible outcome for the Damian Lillard era in Portland, which is that, yeah, exactly. That we get Tyler Hero and Kyle Lowry and picks for a
I don't think he would.
generational,
Yeah.
top 75 of all time NBA player, the best Portland Trailblazer ever. And we're, looking at Lowry and Hero. I mean, that breaks my heart. And I know it does yours too. And then on the other screen, I'm seeing Trailblazers Damian Lillard just wants a shot, preferably with the Portland Trailblazers. That's the headline. And I just want to give that to him. It's just the better option. It's like trading him for that. I'd rather just do what it takes to get Draymond, if that's what it takes to make the man happy. If Damian Lillard thinks that he has a shot with Scoot, Shaedon, Jeremy Grant, and Draymond Green, I want to give him that opportunity to see if he can do it. And I mean, we've seen his will is one of the greatest wills in NBA history, certainly in Blazers franchise history. I think if he's given what he thinks are the tools to win a championship, he might dirk us all potentially. So that's where I'm at with it.
I'm with you, but if he is in the mindset of at all costs and he wants to trade Scoot for OG, then you say no, wake up, no, we're not doing that. Sorry.
I think Scoot is fairly untouchable, but I'd do just about everything else that we could.
And
I mean, I wouldn't want to
Shaedon
trade Shaedon either, but I mean, we have,
Okay, so
yeah, but
it's
I
tough.
mean, yeah, I wonder what kind of trade he has in his mind. Who's he willing to give up to get Draymond Green?
He's probably willing to give up Scoot because Scoot's his replacement. He's wearing the double letter O, basically. So I think he would be willing to give up Scoot. And obviously, if you give up Scoot for Draymond, I'm going to riot downtown Portland,
yeah, that'd be awful too.
So you
I don't think
can't
he'd be
let
the only
Dame
one.
completely, his wishes completely overrule the needs of the team. That's my thing. I'm with you though. I get what you're saying. The alternative might not look exactly like what we want, but at all costs, I'm keeping Scoot and Shaedon unless you're really getting a top tier star, because
that's what we've been saying this for weeks, if not months.
Yeah, but the crap's gonna hit the fan here with Dame saying trade him or not. Like, don't do it, Cronin. Do not trade Scoot for some bum that's gonna get us in the first round exit again. Please.
I think he knows that. He says he wants to keep both of. They want to thread the needle, but yeah, I'm with Colton in this one. If he's asking you to trade one of those two prospects for someone that's not like a, borderline MVP candidate, like a guy who's gonna put the Blazers into championship contention within the next 2 years, then I guess you take freaking Jovic and Kyle Lowry and just call it good.
It's the picks and clearing the board. You get the flexibility, you get Jovic, and that's what it is. It's not getting Kyle Lowry. It's hoping that it.
I hope we don't get Kyle Lowry.
You know what would be fun?
That's a deal breaker
thing about this, if this happens, is you'd be standings watching basically every year with the Heat. You could root just as hard for the Blazers to be good as the Heat to be bad. It'd be just the double-sided coin, right?
So you wouldn't root for Dame? You wouldn't hope he wins a championship?
No. If he makes it,
I'm in the same boat.
Go to Miami with trade, no. I'd be like, no, I don't want any injuries. I don't want to wish injuries on people, but I want them to lose every game because I want the number one pick from them. Sorry, if you forced our hand, I don't want you to win. I want them to win. That's not true, but you know what I mean? Like, it's hard that if we're stuck with this package. So
I already know myself. I saw it happen with CJ. I was like, when we trade CJ, I'll root for him. And then he went to New Orleans, and I've taken so much satisfaction in his failures in New Orleans. Every time I've been like, CJ is ass. I'm so glad we got out from underneath him. Even though we didn't get jack shit for him, but still, he's like, every time he throws the ball to the other team, I'm like, I knew it. This is what we've been dealing with for years, league. Have at it, New Orleans. And I feel like the same thing's gonna happen with Dame. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna root for him, but every time I watch him play, I'm gonna be like, fail, fail, fail. I don't know
I
what it
can't go
is.
that far. I can't go that far.
Yes, you are. You're saying you hope they give us the number one pick.
Well,
That's about as big of a fail as possible.
I don't. I want him to drop 70 a game, but I want us to lose every game. It's not, I can want him to succeed, but not the team.
I think you all know where I am. I might be more of a Miami Heat fan than a Blazer fan for a couple of years.
Oof.
I just
I don't know. I think you would get over it pretty quick. If Shaden and Scoot gave us anything, if they gave us any inkling of excitement, if they were good within like 2 years, God, that is a very exciting young core to look at. I mean, it hurts to give up Dame, but the Blazers have put themselves in a great position if they do have to pull the trigger on a rebuild as far as having two of the most exciting, athletic, explosive guards with a lot of upside, huge amount of potential. They just need a big guy. They desperately need a big guy, and those don't grow on trees. They're hard to find. But if they could find, a legitimate like 7-footer with a lot of athleticism and the same kind of player as them, or even just a forward, then you're really cooking. But yeah, it's a tough position that the Blazers are in, but all in all, they've kind of put themselves, they've done a lot to sort of scale the sides and kind of play both sides of the fence. And if they do have to do that rebuild, it won't be quite as painful as some rebuilds are, I think.
Look at Washington. You want to see a hopeless spot to start a rebuild? Compare it to the Blazers roster. Look at their roster where they're rebuilding and look at where we would be rebuilding. We'd have 2 franchise cornerstones, basically. We're hoping right off the bat. Washington has Jordan Poole. Just saying. It's a lot different.
All right, guys. What do you grade the draft? First of all, we just put up that poll. So go ahead and be sure to go vote on what you would give the Blazers for their draft. And what do you think Dame's going to do? Do you think he's going to announce his intentions here in the next day or so, or is he going to wait and corner the Blazers into making a bad move before he gets out? That would suck. But yeah, let us know in the comments. Let us know who other free agency signings you'd pursue, trades you'd pursue. Let us know. We'll talk about it next time. Thanks for watching.
Bye.